She laughed as the doors of the jet closed behind her. I stood alone on the tarmac, clutching nothing but a carry-on, and feeling a weight settle inside me that I couldn't quite swallow. The air around me was thick with silence, and it pressed down harder with each passing second. Her sunglasses shielded her eyes, but not the cruelty that played in the corners of her lips. "Call me when you're done sulking," she'd said, her voice dripping with the sort of fake sympathy that only someone like her could master. Then the engines roared to life, and just like that, she was gone. Off to Monaco or Milan, or wherever women like her go when they want to reclaim their sense of power. I didn't chase her, didn't shout her name. I stood there, watching her retreat. She expected a scene, expected me to beg for a seat, for attention, for the love I hadn't received in months. But instead, I turned on my heel and walked back into the terminal, each step carrying me further from the man I had been. I booked a one-way first-class ticket to Paris. 10 minutes later, I was soaring above the clouds, champagne in hand, and for the first time in years, every nerve in my body was quiet. She had stopped pretending months ago, long before the jet. Late nights that bled into mornings, a lipstick I never bought, whispered conversations behind closed doors. Her phone always flipped face down whenever I entered the room. I gave her space, thinking I was being understanding, giving her the room she needed. She mistook it for weakness. I gave her freedom, and she took flight, without a second thought. But here's the thing about people like her. They believe their wealth can buy immunity, that their titles and power make them untouchable. They forget that I was there before the jet, before the title, before the applause in the boardroom. They forget that I know where the bones are buried, that I know the secrets they would rather stay buried. She must have received the email around the time we crossed the Atlantic. I could almost picture her, manicured fingers trembling as she opened it. The same fingers that had once traced my skin by candlelight in moments that now felt like a lifetime ago. The email was a legal notice from our shared attorney, triggered by the trust clause she had signed years ago in a hotel room when love still looked like loyalty. Her inheritance was frozen. Her account split. Her company, once fully hers, now 48% mine. The first message came while I was somewhere over Greenland. "You petty bastard." Then another. "What did you do?" And another. "We need to talk. Now." By the time we touched down in Paris, I had 155 unread messages. Her panic buzzed in my pocket, the weight of it draining my battery. But I didn't respond. I walked through Charles de Gaulle with a stillness she would never understand. There was no need to scream anymore. The silence, in that moment, was louder than any words I could have said. It spoke for me. I checked into the Ritz, placed my phone face down on the dresser, and watched the Parisian lights blink like soft, unspoken truths through the window. The city pulsed with a quiet energy, but inside I was still. She called my sister, my lawyer, even my father. Then she reached out to my assistant, the one she always pretended to tolerate. I received the voicemail transcript the next morning. I didn't think he would actually do it. Her voice cracked halfway through. He always just took it. The distance, the lies. I thought he loved me enough to never leave. She wasn't crying because she had lost me. She was crying because I had stopped waiting to be chosen. I had seen the messages between her and him. Business partners who always stood too close at gala events, whose cologne lingered on her scarf long after they had parted ways. I didn't confront her about it. I filed it away. Quiet men aren't weak, they're calculating. I wasn't after revenge, I was after peace. And sometimes to find peace, you have to burn the bridge so no one can follow you back into the war. 2 days later, she flew back, but not in the way she was accustomed to. No private jet this time. The company card had been revoked. Her smile had been stripped away, leaving nothing but the raw, exposed truth. I heard she tried calling a board meeting to vote me out, but I had just enough power to block it. Just enough to make sure she had to sit across from me week after week, to look me in the eyes she used to lie to. But I never showed up. I gave my seat to a proxy. I had no interest in playing king in a castle built on manipulation. I just wanted her to know I could have ruined her, and I chose not to. She finally texted me something real. "You're not the man I married." She was right. That man would have waited at the airport. That man would have cried. That man would have answered her first call. But the man I had become no longer needed to be loved to feel whole. He no longer needed to be wanted to have worth. I replied, "Only once, no." I buried him the moment your jet took off. Then I turned off my phone, walked into the Parisian dusk, smiled at strangers, and let the cold air of the city remind me what it felt like to breathe without her name poisoning my lungs. Sometimes justice isn't loud. It's quiet. It's choosing peace over pettiness, walking away while they're still screaming into the silence.